Cameras on. Michael, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Um, my name's Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. And what is this? This is an art business workshop. Um, and I usually start these things by saying a couple of things. One, um, I've been doing this for a long time, not running the webinar part, but like, how do you apply modern marketing, digital and otherwise, to the task that you guys are trying to complete, which is, how do you build a thriving art and or photography business? Oh, thank you, Juan. Camera. Sorry, guys. I didn't even realize I had like nothing going on. You guys were like looking at palm trees. Sorry. So yeah, so I've been applying digital marketing to how you actually grow a photography business or an art business, how you go from hobbyist to side hustle, how you go from side hustle to pro, and once you're at the pro level, how you grow that and grow that and grow that. In addition to that, I run 3 of these things a week. Been doing that for over a year and a half, as well as running several internally with my customers. Why am I bringing that up? I'm bringing that up to say, on a week in, week out basis, I don't think it's hyperbole to say there's. I probably talk to more artists and photographers about their marketing and business issues than any human being on the planet. As a final, we have 5,700 customers at Art Storefronts, and I study their data very intently. And what do I mean by that? Who's selling the most originals? Who's selling the highest volume of originals? Who's selling the cheapest originals? Who's selling the highest price originals? Who's selling the most commissions? Are they doing the commissions as individual events or one-offs? Who's selling the most prints? Who's selling the most metal prints, photo paper prints, frame prints, canvas gallery wraps? And then, you have that data, and not only do you have that data in terms of what's actually selling, I have the data in terms of what sources of traffic are actually driving the sales. And I feel like this is an industry, your guys' industry, there are so many charlatans running around saying this works and that works and go do this and go do that. And I derive a great deal of pleasure in being able to call BS on a lot of these people in about 2 seconds because I have the data. Like, I get to see, we study every single solitary customer that is doing well, and we dig into everything. How many emails do they have on their list? How many Facebook fans do they have? How many Instagram followers do they have? Is it the other way around? Facebook followers, Instagram fans, whatever. Is organic traffic working, right? How often are they running a sale? How often are they running live art shows? How often are they posting? And we look at all these sorts of things, and I think when you have that data, it's probably one of the biggest advantages that we have as a business because I can tell you what's working. I can tell you what's not working. And let me tell you, the what's not working sometimes is more important than what's working because so many people will spend hours and days and weeks and months on something that is not ever going to grow their business one single solitary bit. So a lot of times the advice on what to do is equally powerful on what not to do. Like, ignore that. Do not worry about that. I don't have a single solitary person out of my 5,700 person customer base that is making a dime off Pinterest. Not one, right? So don't waste any time on Pinterest if your job is to build an art business. So I'm getting fired up already. Agenda for today's show. So I have like a presentation that I run at the top. It sort of sits on top of what we do as a business as Art Storefronts. It's the set of circumstances, the business model, a set of premises that I believe all of you guys need to nod your heads on and agree with if you want to be successful. It doesn't matter if you ever sign up with us. I could care less. It's not mean I care less. I'd love for you to sign up, but it doesn't. It's not just to do business with us. Like, you have to get this right. If you want to be an artist or a photographer whose business is growing year over year over year, you have to get this set of circumstances right. So I start with the presentation. After the presentation is when we get into the Q&A. You can ask anything about anything we do, anything marketing related, Facebook related, live art show related, anything about anything. And I'd love to help. My honest goal in a win for this session is that you guys all leave with some things that you can bolt into your business and change to start making an impact right now, to start actually growing your business right now. So that's the goal. Couple of things. As I go through this little presentation, there's going to be videos and PDFs and links and all these sorts of things. We'll throw some of them into the chat, but don't feel like you need to like click on every single solitary one or bookmark them or write them down or whatever. As soon as this thing's over, I'm going to send you an email. Thanks for attending the session. Here's the video, and the video will be embedded in a web page, and then underneath it will be every single solitary link and video I mention as I go through the entire thing. And we change it a little bit every time. So you'll have that info, you'll have that ammo to play with. And then we'll get into everything else on the other side, and might as well just get things fired up. So Not sure if you are familiar with this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but I sort of stole it and I've created what I call the art selling pyramid. Okay, this is the path to a successful art business in 2021 and beyond. Very, very important, and no different than Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, it's a pyramid. You have to sort the bottom blocks and then you can sort the next block up, you know, as you're climbing up the pyramid. And, you know, in Maslow's case, the bottom block is physiological, right? We all need to eat. We all need to sleep. We all need to do that daily. We get that taken care of and sorted. Then we can work on safety, love, belonging, esteem, self-actualization, whatever that means. So the bottom block of the pyramid, okay, it's attention. And this one is so, so important. The currency of the land that we live in 2021 is attention, right? It is the biggest problem that every single solitary artist and photographer has, especially every single solitary artist and photographer in this Zoom call. How do I know that? I've talked to hundreds of you, and it's the biggest problem for all my customers too. I would love to tell you that the world that we live in 2021 and even years previous, the artist or the photographer that is best at their craft wins. Not true. It's not a meritocracy on how good you are at what you do. It's not. The best art, the best photography that gets seen wins. And there is a huge gulf between the stuff that does get seen and doesn't get seen. And the biggest problem that every single solitary one of you guys have is a marketing problem. And no different than in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the physiological block is daily. We have to eat and sleep daily. If you want to build a business and have it grow, you have to be working on attention, getting more of that on your marketing on a daily basis. And you know, I know this conclusively. Every single solitary customer that we have, even the ones that are knocking on the $1 million a year, they want to grow that thing to $5 million a year. How are they going to do that? By focusing on getting more attention on their marketing. And, you know, one thing I always say, and this gets me in trouble sometimes, but I don't care, I say it anyway. Who are some of the most powerful women in the world? How would you answer that question? You know how I answer it? It's the Kardashian-Jenner sisters. It's the Kardashian-Jenner sisters, okay? We can all argue about how those surgically altered, well-endowed women got their attention. What we can't argue is the fact that every one of them has a 5, 10, 50, 100, whatever $1 million a year business. I mean, one of them just started a tequila brand, and year one, the tequila brand's already sold like $30 million worth. 818, whatever she calls it. I don't even know which one of them it is. The point is to bring it home. Those gals understand the currency of the land is attention. With it, you can do anything. Without it, you're not in the game. To bring it home to you guys, if any of those surgically enhanced, well-endowed women decided to paint tomorrow, to take up a paintbrush tomorrow, or to get an iPhone and start taking photos, they would have a $10 million a year art business year one. They just would. Is that fair? No, it's not. But it is the point that they understand attention is the currency of the land, right? It's with it, you can do anything. After we sort our attention, we're working on it daily. The next portion of the block has an outer section, inner section. Outer section is you have to understand the business model, okay? And you have to be working on building a collector list. Let's start with the business model as I grab this book over here. You have to sell direct. There can be no one in between you and your end customer, your end buyer. Why? You need to be selling direct such that you retain the information on who is purchasing your work, such that you have the ability to market to these people in perpetuity. And perhaps most important in all of this is this concept of a collector list. Now, it doesn't get talked about all that much, but from where I'm sitting and having done this for the years that I have and having seen all the customer data, I would place both the size and the health, the overall health, how well it's being nurtured and taken care of a collector list is either the number one or the number two most important metric that dictates what size an art or photography business is going to be. And I didn't steal, but I was initially switched on to the concept from this book. Don't be a starving artist. Why would you want to read it? 1, it's very thin. 2, it's very good. 3, it's by the best-selling artist in the United States, which is Weiland. Apparently, it's not even close. He's the whale guy. I'll throw you a link. You can buy it in there, but what I'm going to talk about is his concept of a collector. To Weiland, it is a collector is someone that will purchase an upwards of 8+ pieces of art from him over the course of a lifetime. So he acquires a customer, and these people who he puts on his collector list buy in upwards of 8+ pieces. Some it'll be 8, some it'll be 50. He keeps painting, keeps putting out work. They just keep purchasing it and purchasing it and purchasing it. And sort of how this looks, like what it fundamentally looks like. Let's keep the math simple. You come out with a new series, and the new series has 10 pieces in it. On Wednesday, you're going to release it to the public. On Sunday, before, you email your collector list and you say, collectors, patrons, I so appreciate you guys and your continued support. Because you supported me over the years, you, of course, are going to get to see these 10 pieces before the general public. Let me know what you think. If you're interested in any of them, of course, please do let me know. And what ends up happening at Thirst is 1 out of the 10, 2 out of the 10 are sold before the public even sees the work. And so instead of going to market with 10 pieces, you're going to market with 8 pieces. And it just grows over time. And sometimes I see 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% on some people. And it is fundamentally one of the most important things that you could possibly have as an artist if you want to make it year over year. I've never even seen anything as close to as important as this. And, you know, Weiland in his book goes into like a lot of the tactical about how you take care of this list. Let me just go out and tell you, they're getting his personal Christmas card every year, okay? He is sending personalized emails to these folks on a regular basis. He is liking their Instagram posts and liking their Facebook posts, or somebody on his team. He is connected with these people. He makes them feel like they are staying at the Four Seasons, okay? So too, do you need to do that with your collectors? And we can get into, okay, well, you don't have people that have bought 8+ pieces. I get that. There's some ways we can fake it until we make it. But the collector list, you guys are all, at the end of the day, artists and photographers, blanket statement, but it's true for 99%. You're solopreneurs, okay? You don't have a huge team behind you and 15 different employees and everything else. And really, essentially, at the end of the day, you're commissioned salespeople. You guys create your awesome stuff that you create, and then you're responsible after you create it to go out and sell it. So if you pound the pavement, you have a show, you do some marketing campaigns, and you sell, well, guess what? You make money. You make a commission on those sales, essentially, right? But the alternative is true, too. If you create and you don't do anything, that work doesn't magically sell. You're not guaranteed anything, right? So if you have a good year, you have a good year, you worked hard. If you don't do any of that work, you're not going to sell anything. So a collector list takes you from commissioned salespeople, and it pays you a base salary. So by the time you get out of bed and just for creating in the morning, you're getting paid. And it starts small. It's 10 grand a year, then it's 20 grand a year, then it's 30, 40, 50, and 60, and 70. It grows, right? And that base salary is just your collectors. They will buy, if you treat them like VIPs, your latest and greatest stuff. You just have to nurture the list all year long. And guys, it's so fundamentally important. So it's like I got turned on to the concept in that book probably like 6 years ago, and I was like, ooh, that's really interesting. And then since then, I've just been able to see customer after customer after customer, not even from our tutelage, but just that understand this fundamentally, and like their businesses are growing, their businesses are way healthier than everyone else's. COVID hit, their galleries are shut down, the show and fair circuit was shut down. These people didn't skip a beat. They didn't skip a beat because they kept creating, and the collectors were all reachable digitally, and they just continued to sell, and COVID was like their biggest year ever. Anyway, let's keep rolling. We understand attention. We're working on it daily. We understand the business model. We are building and nurturing a collector list. There are 3 ways to sell art, okay? I believe every artist, every photographer needs to understand the fact that there are 3 and then needs to deploy the 3 when it's situationally correct to do so. Number 1 way, the best way. Everybody knows this. It's a trick question. In person, face-to-face. Always has been the best way to sell art or photography. Always will be the best way to sell art or photography. Problem, though, Sarah, Michael, Amber, Jimmy, and Craig, you guys, like me, we are all geographically fixed on this planet. That's number 1. Number 2, turns out we have to sleep. Number 3, turns out we can't have 15 conversations at once. So we have to have a website, right? And the website solves for all of those. It solves for when you're asleep. It solves for when 15 people want to talk to you at the same time, right? And it obviously can transact commerce, which is very important. But the third way, the newest way, which I would pretty much call the most profound, prolific, interesting, amazing advancement to this industry in forever, not even close. It is leveraging live video, exactly like we're doing right now, in either a one-to-one format or a one-to-many format, okay, to sell art or photography. And let me give you the one-to-one, and then we'll go into depth on the one-to-many. Let's say I follow Craig on Instagram, and I'm like, I like this Craig. He looks like a patriotic dude. I just remodeled a bathroom, and I've got some wall space. And so I send Craig a DM on Instagram, and I'm like, Craig, I'm interested in some of your pieces. I'm remodeling a bathroom. I was wondering if we could jump on a Zoom session, my wife and I and you could explain to me a couple of your pieces. We could talk sizes and prices. And Craig's like, no problem, Patrick. He instantaneously sends me the Zoom link. Boom. We're in a conversation. I'm getting to know him. He's merchandising the work. He's holding it up. He's talking about his inspiration, the pieces, the various different options that I have as a buyer. My wife is right with me. So both of the decision makers are in the room, and boom, the sale gets over the line. Do you know how many artists and photographers are doing this? Do you know how many artists and photographers have buttons all over their website that says book a live art chat with me? I'll answer for you. Almost none. This is fundamentally changing the way that art and photography is sold. That's the one-to-one, okay? That's the one-to-one. Next, let's talk about the one-to-many. The one-to-many is this concept of a live art show, okay? And I'm going to show you a couple of these. And conceptually, it's the artist in their studio. In this case, my good buddy Matthew, sleeveless, apparently. Somebody took the sleeves off this shirt. Somebody let him know. I like making fun of him for the shirt. I have to. In his garage studio, he lives outside of Quebec in Canada, a place called the Val, and he was having what he calls a basement sale. These were old works that he did some number of years ago, and he is streaming this live to Instagram. He's streaming it live to his Facebook page. He's streaming it live to YouTube. People are able to ask questions in real time. He's got numbers. He's negotiating on price. He ran 2 of these sales over a, I think, 15-day period in the height of COVID. He sold a little bit over 62 pieces for $30,000, Canadian. An incredible result, right? An incredible result also in the sense that he retained all the information on who was purchasing his art. An incredible result also, he did not have to leave his house. An incredible result also in that he kept 100% of the income and the revenue from these sales, right? The bad side for him is after the show is over, he had to ship 30, whatever it was, 60 pieces of art all over North America, a couple to Central America, a couple to Europe, one to Asia, and is that it? I think that was it. And obviously a bunch in Canada, but I covered that with North America. So we got these results with him. He's a customer. This was a case study. We helped him in the middle of COVID, and we're like, that is not normal, okay? That is not normal to get results of that. And so much of what I do, my team does at this business, is we go and find these incredible results, and we're like, how can we duplicate that? And then how can we teach our customers how to do it? This is phenomenal, right? So what have we done since then? We have run hundreds of these with every artist imaginable, every niche, every different part of the United States, our country, other countries, and the results continue to be absolutely astounding. I have been marketing for a long time. I have never seen anything in my entire life move more art or photography as these live art shows. In this case, Meg, customer, lives in Kansas City, very talented artist, moving from one studio space into another. So she had a bunch of smaller pieces and color studies and the like. And oh, by the way, remember this book? She had 82 pieces in the show. The show is going to go down on a Wednesday. She sent the show inventory to her collector list on Sunday before the show. 46% of the show was purchased before she even turned the camera on and ran her live. She ended up selling a little bit over $12,000 on this one. It was smaller pieces. Since then, again, we have run them in every niche, every part of the country, different artists, photographers, large social followings, small social followings, just getting started, wearing white gloves, not wearing white gloves. I mean, you name it, we've run one after another, and I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything that is this profound. Now, there are a number of reasons why these are so successful that we can get into in a later bid. But let me come off of, our little window, art storefronts. Okay, great. Yeah, you know what you've done, Patrick. What is anyone else doing it? Your industry is not an industry that has a lot of reports. You have 2 a year that are big ones that I'm aware of. One is by a London insurer called the Hiscox Report. This one is by Art Basel and UBS. They call this the Art Market Report. And I'll send you this link. You can download the report, or you can click this key findings. They made a jazzy little website out of it. Anyway. Chapter 5, and I should say as a sort of a disclaimer, these guys only survey the top 1% of artists in the world, or top 5% if you like. The barriers, all of them have, for the most part, major representation. All are making well into 6 figures a year, at least gross, not net in some cases. But anyway, they're the top artists. And I quote, look at this. Chapter 5 looks at the online art market. and the rapid evolution of sales in 2021. The chapter shows how the dealer sector shifted sales online in 2020 and at the development of online viewing rooms, OVRs. It goes on to talk about how profound the OVRs. Look at the 2020 online sales versus the rest of the years. Is that insane or what? All COVID driven. But anyway, this report is awesome. I want you guys to check it out. But the point is, do you know what an OVR is? It is a snooty way of saying a Zoom call. Exactly what we're on right now. So these high-end galleries, their agents, sometimes it's Sotheby's, sometimes it's Gagosian or any of the other big names that you know. They get the salesperson and or the artist in a Zoom. They get the high net worth individual on the other end of the Zoom. They call it an online viewing room. They have a personalized show for them. They are able to ask whatever questions they want. The artist does their interpretation, their inspiration on the piece and all the rest of it. You get to know the artist. Everyone's got a drink in their hand, and then the high net worth individual bought tremendous amounts of art as a result of doing this in 2020. So my point is, whether it's the one-to-one or the one-to-many, the entire art selling world is trying to figure out how to leverage live video to grow their business, and it is profound. And just to give you a couple more spins on this, Matthew, again, longtime customer, really good friend, had a show in the middle of COVID. It was already booked. The gallery was like, look, we can only have like 10 people in here, but you can have the show. Everyone's going to have to wear masks, all that, right? And obviously no one could come to the show because COVID. I mean, this was July 24th of last year, so, lockdowns were still fierce. And what do? He had the gallery show. Whoever could come to the show came to the show. And the next day, turned the cameras on, walked right through the show, right like you were at the show, and you could see which pieces got the red dot. And this was exactly hanging. This is so close to the actual experience of his actual gallery show. And guess what? People were asking questions, and they were interacting, and everyone that couldn't travel because of COVID felt like they were actually at the show with him. And he ended up selling some additional pieces that he did not sell at open night, right? And people were sending offers and all the rest, and you gotta interact and bond with them. So there's so many different permutations of what this can look like and how this can go. And I know already that almost none of you have run them. I know that probably for many of you, this is the first time that you've ever even heard about it. I know for many, you are terrified of being on video. I know for many, you've never done a very good job of actually holding up your work and merchandising it in your lives, okay? Because I've seen your Instagram accounts, 2D image after 2D image after 2D image, okay? You guys aren't selling 2D images. Do you know what you're selling? You're selling something that can hang on the wall, okay? That has a wire on the back and hangs on the wall. But what is your Instagram account filled with? 2D image after 2D image after 2D image, right? So anyway, I say all that to say, and I'm going to tell you guys this before anyone else gets to know. It's not hyperbole, okay? I've never seen results in my entire life of doing this like I have seen from these shows. We have multiple different customers, okay, that now you guys can see Craig. Why I picked on Craig for the patriotic stuff. I love it. Oh, look at that background. It's legit. Anyway, so multiple customers, okay, some huge following, some small following, some in between. They hate video too. They're terrified of public speaking too. Turns out they don't have a bunch of fancy equipment aside from the one thing that everyone has, okay? And they've been running these things, and the results that they're getting in one show are eclipsing the results that they've gotten in 6 months of marketing and regular sales, even with our tutelage the year previous. It is insane how effective these are. And I realize, there's the Christian parable. It's not about religion, but, the give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, and they can feed themselves for a lifetime, or however I'm hacking that. That's what I'm seeing by these shows, okay? So guess what I'm going to do? I'm running the biggest contest we've ever run as a business. And guess what entrance into the contest is? All you have to do is run a live art show and send me the link. That's it. And I'm not going to leave you hanging. Of course, I'm going to send you like a massive, in-depth, step-by-step guide on how to do it. But look to your emails. That's dropping tomorrow. What am I giving away? I'm giving away 1 5-year membership. I think I'm going to give away a 3-year membership, and I'm going to give away a 1-year membership. I'm going to even do bonuses. I don't know. I'm going crazy with it. But my sincere hope is that you guys would all be like, this guy knows what he's talking about, it sounds like, sort of. And these live art shows seem like a big deal. And if he's telling me that I should be running one, I probably should. And by the way, do you know who the contest is for? Non-customers and customers. You want to know why? Because people are terrified to run these things. Okay, nobody wants to do it. It's video. You're worried about hair and makeup and your camera equipment, okay? And you tell me you don't have an email list, you don't have enough Instagram followers, and Craig's flag won't fit in the frame. So I get all the, I know I'm just picking on you, Craig, because I like it. I know all the excuses, okay? And the contest is for my customers at the same time as it's for non-customers. Because you know what I realize? The more of you guys I get running these, it will place you, if you just run your first one, at the top 1% of artists and photographers in the world in terms of marketing acumen. It's just writing one, right? And what does everyone say to me? What's the best time to run one, Patrick? And I don't have enough followers, and I don't know about the equipment, and I don't have enough inventory, and this and that and the other and everything else. If I was teaching you how to ride a bike, do you know what we would do? We take the bike out of the garage, we go down the driveway, put it on the street, start riding it, probably fall down a couple of times, smile a little bit at the end, and maybe get the hang of it. So do you know what you don't have to worry about when you run your first one? What time of day to run one, what kind of equipment you have, whether or not you have the right inventory, whether or not you have the best bike in the history of bikes, who's going to be on the street when you're riding the bikes. I mean, obviously not if it's a trafficy street. But my point is, this contest is going to be awesome. I want all of you guys to enter. You 100% can run a run a live art show. I am going to show you step by step, and you have the ability to win either a 5-year, 3-year, or 1-year Art Storefronts membership. And don't worry, if you sign up before then and you win the thing, then we'll give you all your money back. So anyway, fired up about these doggone contests. I'm serious. I've never seen anything like it, ever. All right, let me finish my presentation. We can get into the Q&A. Where was I? So yes, these. And by the way, when you run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these, in sharp contrast to everyone else, you learn things, okay? You learn things, you get better. Do you know what you learn? What do you notice about this one? Quality's terrible, isn't it? You want to know why the quality's terrible? Because his significant other is upstairs streaming Netflix when he's running his show. You can't have people streaming Netflix upstairs when you're running your show, okay? There's not enough bandwidth. You can't have your kids on the iPads when you're running your show. There's not enough bandwidth. So these are the things that you learn. You get better, right? One of the newest features we have that I love is, you know, you run enough of these things, and don't worry, this is not going to stop you from running one, but how do you take payment? You're going to have 15 pieces in the show. You're going to be talking about them. How do you take payment, right? So we started running through all these things, and all the first ones, it was like, you know, if you have your art on a website, you can put the art on a website. Okay, fantastic. But that takes time. That's kind of a pain in the butt. What you need is a very, very simple page that you can just execute on. I created this thing from scratch, told my designers to build it. No header. You notice this? No header, nothing. They can share the show. They have the shopping cart because I don't want them going anywhere else. You have the title, okay?
But
you have, yeah. Oh, I'm not
you're
sharing.
not showing. Yep,
Yep.
there you go.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, so now we can see it. Okay. This page is so simple to create, I can't even begin to tell you. You grab a bucket of images, okay? You drop them all at once. It instantaneously outputs the grid of all of the images, okay? Takes 2 seconds, not individual uploads, not anything else. Our thing will resize them, drop them, you have the grid. Then you title, you get price. If that's all you want to have in your show, great. Then you can title price. If you want to put sizes, fantastic. If you want to put a little description, fantastic. Then you run the show, and you have a web page to send them to. Not only do you have a web page to send them to, if somebody clicks a buy now button, you get this little slide out shopping cart. They fill it in. They click pay now. The transaction's done. Instantaneously, the thing goes to sold. Because what happens is that sometimes you'll get 2 people fighting over a piece, and then you got to play favorites, and then you're the bad guy. Okay, I don't want you to be the bad guy. Nobody likes being the bad guy. And then you have a page after the fact where the show lives, so that when you email people like, hey, you missed my show, there's still some pieces left, you can come check it out. So that's our newest feature. Really fired up about this, and it's already working insanely well. And this entire page to build takes, like, you know, depending on, he had, how many pieces did he have? Like 30. How long did this take you to build one? Like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that? Juan's going to have to unmute himself and say, but.
Yeah. I would say the longest 1 hour.
Yeah, okay, fine. The longest 1 hour. You're ready to run a live art show. So let me finish my presentation, and we'll get into the Q&A. Okay. We're working on our attention. We're doing that on a regular basis, quotidian, daily. Okay. We know the business model, selling direct. We're building our collector list, and we're taking care of it. We're working on our 3 ways to sell art. That top block is everything else. It's everything else. Let's say you have a retail gallery, okay, that is, you know, still selling your stuff, still giving you income. Fantastic. I love income, but it's got to be in addition to everything else, okay? So too, if you have an online gallery, Saatchi, Redbubble, Etsy, Fine Art America, I don't care what it is. Very few people do good on any of those things, admittedly, but it's okay. You can, if they're working, as long as it's on top of everything else. You do this, and then we throw in the P word, okay? Little perspective here. This is important. Week in, week out, I talk to hundreds. Do you know how many are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s? You talk to enough people like that, you start to realize things. One, you guys all have decades left, God willing, to get this right, okay? To get that pyramid right, to build a business that will actually give you income and grow year over year, okay? And you guys don't go through midlife crises. You know, you're not all of a sudden an artist or a photographer, and then you decide in your 40, like, I'm going to go be a tax accountant, right? Like these people that I talk to, they've been artists their entire lives. You don't ever stop. So have the perspective of how long you have to get this right. And you guys, it's not a sales pitch. This pyramid is the difference between whether or not you're going into a fight with both hands up or both of your hands tied behind your back. Because if you're not selling direct and you're not building a collector list, and you don't have your art up on a website, it is so difficult to make it in this industry. I can't even begin to tell you. And as a final on the perspective, like, you know, again, talk to you guys, hundreds of you guys. Okay, I can read your mail. I know none of you are marketing consistently. I know none of you have ever marketed consistently for the most part. Marketing an artist is like gym memberships at the beginning of the year. Everyone signs up for the gym membership and they're so fired up about it. This is going to be my year. Come February 15th, the cold weather comes in and you're going to the gym like once a month, right? That's what marketing is to most artists and photographers. You don't ever do it consistently. So I need to teach you to do it consistently if you're going to be successful. And there's a lot that you need to learn in order to do good, effective marketing. And let me tell you, if you've never done that and if you've never learned it, first year totally sucks. You're pulling your hair out of your head. There's a bunch of stuff you have to learn, which is not fun. But what? If you have the perspective of how long you have to get this right, it is all well worth the effort and time to learn, because you can build an incredible business. And that's the ball game. That's my presentation. I'm sticking to it. Sorry for my technical difficulties today. I'm a little out of it. Q&A. How do we do it? If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on, you can raise your hand old school fashion. Let me know you have a question. We can unmute you, get into a conversation about whatever you like. For everyone else, there is a reactions button at the bottom of the Zoom window, and there's a way that you can digitally raise your hand. You can see I just did it. And that's super handy because that just gives me a cue and it lets me know, okay, this person has a question, this person has a question, this person has a question. If you're one of the ones that is watching on Facebook or YouTube or any of the rest, I see your comments. I can certainly answer those. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on, okay? I hate video. If I didn't have to be on video, I'd never be on video. So I totally get that. You can answer your questions just via audio. Sorry, I'm trying to move a window from my other monitor here. And then if you've got questions that you threw into the chat, I will deal with those onesies, twosies at a time too. And yeah, at this point, we open it up to the questions. Anybody? Anybody want to go first? Oh, Craig, I like it. That's brave. That's brave, Craig. I knew I could count on you. You'll need to unmute, Craig. It's like mic icon bottom left. Given how many times you changed your background, I'm not worried about you figuring it out. Still not there. I'll let you know when you get it. We can't hear you, Craig. The mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. All you have to do gotcha.
It's off.
Gotcha.
It looks. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's weird. It still shows a red X on mine, but I can hear you. I don't know how you're doing that.
All right. So you mentioned other platforms like Fine Art America and Redbubble and those kind of things. I've used both of those, and I just send people there and they buy things. But so how is what you're describing for this art website, this art site, how is that different? What makes it stand out differently than the other platforms you can use?
So you're comparing marketplaces with your own website where you own the URL and you're responsible for driving the traffic, right? It's yours. Yeah. It's your store. It's not a marketplace. So on Fine Art America, Redbubble, those other ones, like, you know, you upload your stuff. You're competing with a bunch of people. Sounds like you're sending your own buyers to go buy your stuff there, and then you don't even know that they've purchased because they don't give you the data on who's purchased, right? I mean, maybe if the buyer tells you after the fact, but yeah. So that's the difference.
Yeah. So if you had your own domain name, you can point it anywhere you want. But
100%.
And the difference is you can have more control over this site.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and most importantly, going back to what I said, you maintain the information on who is actually purchasing your work, right? That's the most
Okay,
important thing. Like I
gotcha.
said, yeah, like
So
critically critical.
they own the names of people who actually
Yes.
buy the work. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah. The online galleries are no different than like the retail galleries, right? Like there's as far as I'm concerned, they're completely exploitative. Like I get that they need to exist, but one, 50-50 revenue splits are ridiculous. I know Fine Art America is likely less than that. And then two, not maintaining the collector information it's the death knell, right? And it's like, I talk to so many people that they're at the top of their game. They're in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s. They've been selling incredibly well their entire lives. And then COVID hit, and that's when it finally hit them. Like their galleries were closed. They couldn't do the show and thayer circuit, and they had absolutely zero revenue coming in. There was nothing they could do about it, right? Because they didn't have anyone to market to. And I really do firmly believe that the business model that is the gallery, high revenue split, not maintaining the collector, is about to get hit with the Uber taxi cab moment, the Blockbuster Netflix moment. Those things are about to get disrupted and turned right onside their head because it's just it's unnecessary. You don't need them anymore. If you do marketing, you can start building your own following, your own collectors. You can keep the vast majority of your revenue, and then most importantly, you have these people to market to, and that's the ballgame.
Yeah. Had another question
Please.
related to that. But I think I'll wait. I'll wait till someone else
No.
talks.
Don't worry. That's what this is for. Go.
I have to remember it too.
Yeah, you gotta remember too. Yeah.
That's the other side of it. Yeah, I think you answered most of that side, but there's something else I was thinking of, and I kind of forgot what it is.
What just out of curiosity, was the patriotic stuff? Is that actually your niche, or were you just using that as a background?
Well, it just so happens that I sell more of the flags than anything else, but the flags all have stories in them. They're all memorials. So that multi-flag that you saw had the last names only of Vietnam veterans who are missing in action. DNA's never been found.
Amazing.
So it's very emotional, and a lot of people go and there's thousands of names on it, so just to give you an idea. And then the others are fallen police officers and first responders and traumatic events and things like that.
One, patriotic is all get out, so I love it too. It's actually a fantastic niche. It's a fantastic niche because you have demand built in, strongly. So,
yeah, I mean, I'll sell $600 worth of, prints and just quick showing somewhere, which is modest, but still, it's people show up. So
yeah, for sure. You think of anything else? Raise a hand again.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Kelly is asking me. She's saying, here and watching. I do much of my own printed, but limited all to sizes up to 17 by 22. Anything larger, I would need a lab print. How does that work? When a customer buys a large piece, what piece do you do? And then Cynthia, I'll get your hand next. Kelly, I don't want you doing any printing at all, ever. And so what happens when you sign up, and let me tell you the reason why. What happens when you sign up is it's a one-click integration for POD. POD stands for print on demand. So you can choose Bay Photo on the West Coast or a company called Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. They both have the same printers, same inks, same media types. They're both huge print houses, renowned for their quality. And an order comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, printer prints the order, boxes the order, slaps your logo on the side of the box, ships it, you touch nothing. You touch nothing at all. That whole process is automated. And that whole process is automated is because you loading the printer, you maintaining the printer, you pressing print on the printer, you waiting for the print to come out of the printer, you then boxing the order up yourself, you then driving the order down to UPS or FedEx or wherever it is to ship it, is all time you're not spending on your marketing. It is all time that is not actually fundamentally growing your business in the slightest. Sure, you might get a little bit better margins when you do the printing on your own, but let me tell you, it's not time that's growing your business, and I want your business growing. So I want you to have a one-click integration. So we have a one-click integration with print houses. We also have a one-click integration with merch. It's all POD, no minimums. You don't have to keep any inventory, and you can focus on the only thing that matters, which is actually growing the business. So that's how I'd answer that. Cynthia, you're up next. Go ahead, Cynthia. And you'll need to unmute, Cynthia. Mic icon bottom left.
Okay. So you answered one of the questions, and
Okay.
that had to do with, the print,
Mm-hmm.
who's responsible for that. Um, the other question I had was how much does it cost to be on storefront?
Yeah. So
And yeah,
yeah. So what we figured out, and this is the easiest way to explain the price, and then I'll go into the numbers, but it's important to get the conceptual. Um, you don't have a website problem, Cynthia. No one on this call has a website problem. And what do I mean by that? If I was the genie and I just came out of the lamp, I got the shoes, the whole thing, rug, and I just said, I will take your website, move it wherever you want, completely for free. It'll be done in a snap. And I grab your website, whether you have one or not, and I get you completely set up somewhere else. Do you know what would change in your business? Absolutely nothing. Because you don't have anyone coming to the website. No one on the call has anyone coming to the website. So what we learned early on in this business is if we want to be successful, us selfishly, Art Storefronts, we have to have successful customers. And a website's not enough. A website, like I can't tell you how many people on this call that have moved their entire career from one website to another website, back to another website, and then they've started uploading stuff in the marketplaces, and none of it works, right? Because you don't have a website problem. And stated another way, Shopify, which is like a huge e-commerce company, they don't necessarily do art stuff; they do everything. It's the biggest company in the entire country of Canada, believe it or not, in terms of market cap. I always love that stat. They have like a bunch of different blog posts. It's like 99% of their customers fail because they don't have website problems either. Like it goes back to what I said in the pyramid, like attention is the currency of the land, right? So why do I go on that rant? If we just sold websites, okay, we would be out of business. Do we have the best website product out there for selling art? Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that that's not the problem. So we have a website. It's fantastic. It's got so many bells and whistles I can't even begin to tell you, but it's not enough. We charge a normal monthly fee for that. What we realized that we need to fix is we need to fix everyone's marketing problem. And so we sort of looked at that 4 or 5 years ago, and we've been hacking at it ever since. And we come at it from like a whole bunch of different ways. Essentially, are we a website company? Yeah, to a certain extent, but we're really just an art business university. We offer graduate degrees in how to actually grow a modern art and or photography business with digital marketing. And the learning never stops because it can't, because the goalposts move too quickly in marketing land today. So like we can go in depth what all the various different bells and whistles and everything that we do in terms of marketing, but it's no joke. The easiest way to think of it is a full-blown university. And so you pay when you sign up a tuition fee to get into the university. It's one time, and then you pay your monthly fee for the website. There's like 3 different plans, I think, or 4 different plans, something like that. The starting price is $9.99 the tuition, and then $49 a month for the website. And so that's where it starts, and then it goes up from there depending on bells and whistles. And what we do is we do the demo process. The demo is a fancy name for test driving the car, in which you get to sit down, drive it, and bells and whistles, and turn the air conditioning on, play with the stereo, and all of that. It's a Zoom call with one of our like outreach team people, and they tailor the whole thing to you. They find out about you. They'll answer all your questions about prices, all the ins, all the outs, show you all of the things in the back end, all of the marketing education and everything else, and that goes about an hour. We don't do it on this presentation because I believe until you understand the pyramid and understand sort of the lay of the land, you're not even ready to see the website. But fundamentally understand that our website software is awesome. It's a Ferrari compared to the other ones. It's not even braggadocio. There's just not many people that have been focusing only on the website. But the Ferrari is just a Ferrari in your driveway with no gas in the tank. The gas in the tank is the marketing, and that's what we teach you to do all year long in a comprehensive fashion. So that's how we go about it.
Okay, so are you different from, I know there's a website called Entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
How different are you from them?
I'm not 100% familiar with Entrepreneur. I know it's a magazine. Buddy I went to high school with actually owns it, believe it or not. And I know it's a magazine, but I don't. Oh, Entrepreneur
Yeah,
is what I say.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. But again, like you have to get out of your head that you have a website problem. You have to firmly ensconce in there that you've got a marketing problem, right? Like, I wish it was the case where you could just get a website. My job would certainly be easier. But a website's not going to help you. You have to fix the real problem. The real problem is the marketing problem. And so that's the biggest differentiating factor.
Okay, one last question may sound crazy.
No, no, not at all. Please.
Do you have to pay if you was to join, pay it all up front, or do you have like payment options or something
We
like
did
that?
we just added the payment option, and it's like the biggest thing on the internet right now. You notice how like every e-commerce site you go to now, there's like split this thing up into four payments of whatever they automatically like, or PayPal will split it up into four payments. So we do that thing now, and instantaneously you apply, you can get in, you're ready to go, and yeah. So we do that. We do that, and
Okay.
I know it's important, and I know we're expensive too, but like the bar for entry for us is like, if we can't create successful customers, we're going to be out of business. So how do we create successful customers? We have to teach them to market all year long. What does that look like? And that's why we exist. It's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that answered my question. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Cynthia. Appreciate that. All right. Mute Cynthia. What else, guys? Questions? Yep. Gotcha, Michael. All right. Michael's up next. And then I'll answer the questions in the chat and everywhere else too. Don't worry.
You were just saying like your business has to obviously stay afloat. And how successful is your business? Are you going to be around in 5 to 10 years, or how's it looking for you guys? I mean, if I sign up, how long are you going to be there?
Yeah. It's a great question. It's a crystal ball question. And, it's impossible. It's impossible for any of us to respond any which way except a finger up in the air, right? So when I get asked this question, what I always go back to is the best answer that I can give you is founder of the company, long history of never selling his companies. Company he had before this called Breathing Color. It's like a giant manufacturer of fine art canvas, paper, and everything else. And he still hasn't sold that, still running that. So he likes to keep businesses for a long time. We're well funded. We're doing well as a company, and what I would say it's sort of inside baseball, but for every SaaS company out there, SaaS is software as a service. Think any subscription software business. Period. One of the fundamental metrics that you're measured by, like if you were trying to sell the business one day or you're trying to go raise money, one of the first questions they would ask is, "What's your churn rate?" And your churn rate refers to how many people are canceling on a monthly basis, right? And they go further and they say, okay, you got 100 customers in, how many customers went out? And then they calculate your churn rate. We have one of the lowest churn rates, not just like in SaaS as an industry, but like that anyone's ever seen. And that speaks to the quality of our product, and it speaks to how good we are at support, and it speaks to the problem that we're solving and how much our customers love us for it. So all of those combined, I would say we're not going anywhere for a long time, but let me tell you why you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that because with us, the artist owns everything. You own the URL. You own all the customers. So let's just say that you're with us for 5 years and you have a great relationship and something happens and it goes out of business. All you do is flip the switch on the URL and you take all of your data, all of your customers, and all of the website traffic with you. You're not out anything. And so you could leave at any point in time. Like, we believe very, very firmly in empowering, our customers, the artist, the photographer, to run their business the way that you're supposed to, in which you run and own everything. You're holding all the keys to the castle. So you don't have to worry about it either way. Like, even if we did go out of business, yeah, you might be out some website software, but other than that, you wouldn't skip a beat. That's important to me too. It really is, because so many people don't do it that way. And something happens or you want to quit and you lose everything that you've done, because Google looks at domains, and every year that the domain is up and active, michaelpetersart.com, it grows in the trust of Google's index, right? And again, Google doesn't send a ton of traffic, but it's nice. Like, it's sort of like developing credit history, right? So you don't ever want to lose that domain, right? You want to have that one for the rest of your life. It's like the credit card that you've been paying on for 50 years and, you have an 800 credit score all of a sudden. So yeah, that's how I'd answer that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, Sarah, you're up next.
Hi, can you hear me?
I sure can.
What about turning like paintings and drawings into prints? Is that something that can be done through your?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So we teach you we have a guy that used to do it for Sotheby's for years and years and years, like photograph the art for reproduction. So 1, you can scan it. 2, you can have it photographed. You could do that yourself, or you could have somebody come in. What's cool is you don't have to decide right now. You can put the stuff up on the website, and you could take an iPhone photo, and our system will tell you how big you can go on the iPhone photo, and then you can decide whether or not you want bigger or not. Ideally, get all the stuff up that you have. And what I would do early on is like, I wouldn't do any of it, and I would wait until somebody ordered, and I'd be like, hey, I was just about to get all the work re-photographed. Do you think I could take a couple of weeks and I'll take 5% off your order? Then run out and go get it photographed and then get it shipped, right? Like, but you could, depending on where you live, you could hire somebody in Craigslist that's got experience doing this. And if you have a garage or they have a garage, I mean, sometimes it's a pain in the butt to transport all the art. But, if you've got a garage, they'll set up their lighting, or they'll set up their lighting in the living room, and one day they'll knock all of it out, and for a couple $100 and you're done.
Perfect. And the database, the customer database that you were talking about for your
the collector list.
That's something that's also on your platform.
No, we don't give you. I mean, it would be worthless. Everyone loves to think that like there's some sort of magical.
No, what I'm talking about is like, say someone purchases something, does it keep it?
Yeah. You own everything 100%. But then not only that, I teach you what to do with that list, on how to take care of that list, and things that you go out of your way to do to treat them special. And again, we're very, very long-term thinkers, right? You have the rest of your life to build this business. You're not going to have a massive collector list year 1 or year 2 or year 10, right? But if you stay at it and you keep building it and you keep taking care of it, that is your base salary, and it is so fundamental, it's so important. So yeah, we teach you how to do all of that, and yes, you retain 100% of the information on your customers, which is so important.
Awesome. I've been following you for a few weeks. I'm going to have the initial demo today after the call. I'm going to call them back, so I'm
awesome.
Excited.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do, because when I say it's the best thing to do, I love that you saw this before you saw the other one, right? Because now you at least get like the broad vision of okay, that's what I need to do, right? And it wasn't hyperbole what I said before. That understanding that business model, regardless of where you get your website, is make or break. It's make or break. The odds, and I've like looked at the odds and read the stats and looked at the stats of my own customers. Do you know a few people make it in this business? It's not a lot. It's not a lot that make good, significant careers and businesses. Do you know what all of the ones that do make it share, aside from the unicorns and the lottery winners? Understanding that pyramid, right? And if you understand that pyramid now, it's sort of like let's say I got you right when you worked your first job, and I was like, Sarah, turns out we're not going to be 18 for the rest of our lives. I know we think that we are in our minds, but one day we're going to be old and frail and retire. If you start investing in your retirement account now, it turns out that interest compounds. And by the time you retire, you're going to be totally cool. Like, getting that pyramid right is effectively investing early in your career. Like, that's how fundamentally important it is. So anyway, my rant is, at least now you're going to see the software, you're going to know the other thing, then you can make the call. But I want you entering the contest.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
And we'll do that from the email you're going to send us. Is that correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Probably tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. And don't worry too, if you sign up and you win the contest, we'll strike the check right back. God, do I want everyone running them? So important. So important. Yeah. What else? Questions? Yep. Cynthia's got a follow-up. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So the other thing was, when it comes to pricing your art, do they train you and teach you how to?
Oh yeah. Fundamentally.
Okay.
Now there's 2 parts of pricing. Okay. There is the straightforward meats and potatoes, and then there is the one that gets into deep psychological issues. Let's talk about the meat and potatoes first. Do we advise you on how to price your work and how to mark up your work? Yes, 100% that we do. We give you percentages. Our system makes it very easy to do. We sort of teach you the methodology. But you know what I also have to do from time to time? I have to bust into one of the biggest psychological problems with artists and photographers I've ever seen in my life: undervaluing themselves and undervaluing their work, and being terrified of commanding and asking for a price that the work might be worth. And what do I mean by this? When I say terrified, fundamentally lack the ability to raise their prices. So will I occasionally tell them to have a nice night and go onto their website and raise all their prices in the middle of the night? I've done it before. So sometimes we'll even do that because artists so fundamentally underprice themselves. It's like death, taxes, moving, and raising prices, like charging what you're worth, right? It is like a fundamental fear that you guys have. So yeah, sometimes we even have to carry you kicking and screaming over the line. But you know what's great about price is it's a reversible decision. So you could decide your prices, Cynthia's, tomorrow start at $500 and see how it goes. And it could either go awesome or nothing could change, or it could be crickets. If nothing changed, well, then you need to raise again. If it's crickets, well, okay, maybe we need to go back down. But if it's sold out in 2 seconds, well, okay, we really got to kick it up, right? And you can go from 500 one day to 1,000 the next day, and then right back to 500. Technically, it is a reversible decision. I know there's a lot of emotion and baggage on that, but once you realize that, it's like, oh, you're right, I can. And no one's even going to call you out on it. So, yeah, trust me, we got playbooks on playbooks on playbooks on how to handle the pricing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, where was I? I have to write a note real quickly while you guys are contemplating questions. Somebody? Anybody? Yep, Michael's back. Then what I usually do is just pick on the ones that have their cameras on. Dwayne, I can't tell if you're driving or not, so I'm definitely not going to pick on you. It looks like you're driving, so I'm just going to ignore that. Okay, good. All right, so fine. So next, Dwayne, I'm picking on you and Amber, but go ahead, Mike.
I do photography mainly and some decoy carving, but I'm not that great on Photoshop. And I have a company, I've done some of my prints, and I did a signature, and then they were able to put it onto the photograph.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of cheap, but
no.
Are you capable of doing that? Like if I have the photographs, do you guys, or I could learn the tutorial, but I'd like to put the signature on. Like I have a digital signature of my own signature.
Yeah.
Do that kind of stuff, or you just take the photographs and you put them on the website, right?
We don't do it individually. I mean, if you had Photoshop, I could give you the tutorial in like
that's my responsibility.
I could do it, show you in about 2 seconds how to do it. And just because I know how to use Photoshop and I'm a huge computer nerd, you don't want to outsource that. It's too stupid easy to do. Like once you know how to do it, it will take.
I kind of thought that, but
okay. It's not worth even outsourcing. Like you just have to. That's just like, look, if you were a mechanic, right? You're gonna need to know how to open the hood. It's that, right? Like,
Okay.
Yeah, it's that easy.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
But yeah, we'll teach you how to do that, and then we have some in-depth advice too for, how to contemplate when to do a digital signature, when to not offer a signature at all, when to think about doing the hand signature and what that looks like. We've got kind of playbooks on all of that.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. All right, thanks. You've muted. Cynthia, I like it. This is what we're here for. Don't worry. Come with them.
Okay, so the other question is like, the work that you do, how does that work with copyright? Is it copyright protected, or you have to go ahead and do it the original way?
You could copyright all of your works if you were so inclined, if you really wanted to. This business is so difficult to make it in the first place that no one really does it. You don't really need to do it. There's not people out there running around stealing artwork and making millions and millions of dollars with it as they're steepling their fingers and laughing. If you feel strongly about it, you can do the poor man's copyright, which is you take a Polaroid photo of it, or you take a photo of it, you write the day's date. You don't even have to write the day's date. You could just, this is the conceptually, take a Polaroid photo of it, put it in an envelope, address it to yourself. The postage stamp dictates the date, and don't open it until later on down the line until you have to. But the reality is, the way that it works is it's pretty easy to establish who owns the copyright. One of two situations happens. Let's say somebody is using it for an advertisement, or somebody's got it on their website for a party. Unless they're making a ton of money on it, there's not really a ton of money you're going to make legally. So what ends up happening is you hire a lawyer, the lawyer sends a cease and desist, and the person takes it down, and that's it. In the rare case that like somebody like really, really used it, like say you walked into the Four Seasons and on every single solitary floor was your artwork, well, now you're in the money. Now you just go and get the lawyer sues, and you are paid. So you don't need to be copyrighted. It's just practically speaking, not something you need to do.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I said, people are producing, just multiple um, art, and that's got to be pretty costly to try to
Oh,
every
this
time you draw
business. Oh,
something
this
or
business
photograph.
is so hard to
It's
make it
just,
in. And I got to tell you, like this is how far I take it. Okay, this is how sick and twisted I am. I think it's complete BS. I know, don't let, I know, okay, that there has to be a story or two of somebody that created some artwork, that put it online, that it was downloaded, and somebody went and reproduced a bunch of it, okay? But those stories are it's like, the odds of that happening are like getting struck by lightning while you're water skiing or some ridiculously small thing. Like, it's so minuscule the amount of time that it happens. And every time that somebody leaves me a comment when I'm doing these live streams, it's like, well, I'm not putting my stuff online. One of my friends got their stuff stolen and somebody printed up millions of things. I go, tell me who it is. Tell me who it is, and I want to get them on the phone right now and let me hear that story because I'm so sick of hearing this bullshit. It's not happening. This is a really hard business. People are not going around stealing things. And so, the point is like, let's say it happens the same amount of time that people get struck by lightning. Do you wake up in the morning, Cynthia, in a cold sweat, worried to go outside because you're going to get struck by lightning? I don't either. And we're better for it, right? And we're better for it. So don't worry about that. I can take that fear right off your mind. Don't worry about it in the slightest.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That one really gets me fired up. I mean, there's so many people that are running around. Juan just did send me a thing. Now, I'm not even going to talk about that, Juan, because I don't want people stressed about it. You don't need to be out. Yes, Maria. Maria, you just made it to the top of my awesome list. Can you start with just one painting? She says. 100% you can start with just one painting. But let me tell you why. Any of this sound familiar? I will just get started when I have 30 pieces. I will just get started when I get all my work photographed. I will just get started when I figure out what my niche is. And the minutes turn into hours, turn into days, turn into years. Have you got it started on that thing yet? No, you haven't, right? And everyone always just does that. And Mike, I'll get you next. I mean, the sheer amount of people that tell me these things and then never get started, and please don't take it cynically. I don't care if you get started with us or with somebody else, but put the piece up online and get started on your marketing. You don't even know what's going to be successful until you get started on your marketing. That's the whole ball game. When you finally actually get the feedback, you're going to know what's selling. So there is nothing more important than getting started and getting started immediately. And one of my favorite quotes, love this quote, and it's from the guy that started LinkedIn, and I always hack his name. Is Reed Hoffman or Reed whatever? It's Reed something or other. I always forget the last name. If you're not embarrassed by your first version, you've launched too late. God, I love that quote. So true. All right, Mike, you're up next. Go. Oh, you got to unmute. Good. Gotcha.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, I've heard your presentation before, and I've watched one of your videos, and you do a great job. You've motivated me to actually do it this time.
Awesome.
I've put this off far too long. But so somebody sees a picture, an image on my website, and they want to order it through me, but they don't want to order it through the website.
Yes.
What do I do about that?
Oh, I prefer you do it that way, in all honesty. So the reason being, let me go a couple of ways. So, one, we have a feature called wholesale ordering, which means you put the order in yourself and you can just ship it wherever you want, right? So it's like contemplate what everyone does when they do shows, right? Like you just put the order in on your own website, and you pay wholesale for everything, and it just comes to you, and then you go and do the show. But what I love about it is, one, you would have to figure out how you're going to take payment, right? Like, are you going to take,
right.
However you decide you want to do that, right? Like, are they going to send you a check? You could use Venmo, you could use PayPal, right? Like PayPal will sometimes hit you with the business fees or whatever. So the payment aside, I love that process because guess what? Until you're selling 500 pieces a month, do you know what the best use of your time is? The highest ROI use of your time is being on a phone call or being on a video chat with a prospective buyer. There's nothing better, nothing higher. I would do it every single solitary time that I could. I would go as far to say, You know, what I said in the presentation earlier is gospel. Best way to sell art, in person, face to face. Next best way, via video. Worst way, your website. Your website, right? It just is. So if we have that, it doesn't mean the website's not critically important. It is, because it solves for those things that I talked about. But I love the hand-to-hand combat. I love the extra mile, the extra touch. So I would 100% do that as much as I could.
Well, just a quick story. I sold a company 3 years ago that I built, a software company.
Awesome.
And I built it with social media.
Amazing.
I had my website. We did a lot of videos, but we built it through social media, advertising, live sessions, and that's what, you know, brought the value.
What was the nature of the software?
It's software that, if you're talking to an enterprise company, it measures their print devices and helps them optimize, lower the costs by potentially reducing the number of devices, buying a new device, and it reduces the energy consumption. But it measured a whole bunch of things. It mapped where all these devices were.
Oh, God, there's just so many. There's so many different opportunities in software. It's crazy. Software is eating the world.
It's a great company in the U.S. that bought it.
Awesome. Congrats.
I'm Canadian, if you didn't recognize my accent.
Yeah, I picked it up. I got it. So now time to turn the hobby, the lifelong hobby of photography into the retirement gig.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you. We can help. You know that already, though.
Yeah.
Have you seen a demo
I'm ready
already?
to move. Pardon me?
Have you seen a demo already?
I have seen a demo like 6 months ago. Probably need to see another demo. So you might want to take a note of that and arrange that for me.
Yep. I'll take care of you. I'll find out. Did you like your person that you talked to on the phone? Or you can't remember?
Honestly, I can't remember.
Well, you had a lot going on. That's all good. Yep. We'll take care of it. Juan, can you get him on the list? We'll have somebody reach out. And, you know, it's so awesome when you start with the right set of premises, right? Like understanding the pyramid, doing everything right from the get-go, right? Like you've been shooting, I imagine, as a hobby your entire life. It's always been your passion, and now you're finally ready to get going and try to sell it. I'm sure you sold some stuff to friends and family and everything else, but now it's game time.
I've sold and I've done shows, but I've just made a significant investment. I've just spent 50 grand on some very high-end lenses, and so I've been using lower quality lenses. Now I'm going to sell on a website. I'm using the very best I can.
I love it. I'm jealous. What platform did you go with? Did you go with Sony, Canon, Nikon?
I use Canon, but I just converted a couple of 5D Mark IVs to the R5.
Oh yeah.
And the best purchase I just bought, I got a new RF 600 millimeter L series Canon lens.
Yeah.
Which has a
what's the aperture on that thing? Is it 1.2, 1.4?
It's it's f4. It's a 4.
Yeah, got it. Amazing.
I mean, there isn't anything lower. I'm sure there is, but with Canon, but that was 20 grand. So yeah, I'm gonna have to sell some art before I get something.
Yep. Hey, look. First of all, you're in retirement. Okay, you've earned this. You worked your whole life to have these toys, and congratulations. I'm envious. But I agree.
Thank you.
Now you got to make them pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get in touch with you in short order.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And again, congrats on the retirement. I'm gonna love that.
Thank you.
All right, Kelly's asking me about social media. I'm gonna unmute you, Kelly. You don't necessarily have to talk if you don't want to. But when you talk about marketing, how much of the social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, would be part of the equation? Will we be any way dependent upon them? No, you won't, Kelly. And I understand. I think I understand where you're coming from. You maybe don't love Facebook, or you maybe don't love Instagram. And let me tell you, I don't love Facebook. I don't love Instagram, and I'm a social media expert. I hate them. I shouldn't say that. I don't hate them. That's a strong word. But in this business, I hate the censorship too. In this business, you have to be contrarian, meaning, let's take it out of our business. If we were fishermen, we would have to drive our boat to where the fish are. Okay? We are after attention, so we have to drive our boats to where those fish are. That attention is. Right now, Facebook and Instagram are amongst the biggest and the best. So our job is to maintain our integrity as it pertains to censorship, of course. And you have to be contrarian about the fact that they have the attention. I hope that changes. I really do. I hope it gets even more fragmented, because that'll present awesome opportunity. But those are the rules of the road in the world that we live in currently. So, yeah, we'll teach you, but you're not dependent on them for anything. So don't worry. That's what I would say. Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Amber, no. Lori, no. Dwayne, I'm just picking on the ones that have their cameras on. You guys are brave, and as a result of that, you get picked on. It is not there, okay? It's not there. I know it.
I have a demo. Well, I requested a demo from Reed right before this, so I'm waiting to hear back from him.
Cool. We'll put you on the list and make sure we get you back.
Yes.
We're having kind of a crazy week over here. But what's going on? Is that your actual art in the background, the triptych?
It is.
Nice. I love the triptychs. So are you abstract across the board?
Yeah, pretty much. I've done a little bit of whimsical, but I'm focusing on abstract right now.
Nice. Yeah. Hard one to qualify, but guess what? It's like anything else. You got to start doing your marketing and then game on.
Yep.
Okay. We'll make sure Reed gets back to you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Amber. Okay. You're up. I think I've got you unmuted. I don't want to hack your name. Rin?
Catherine.
Oh, Catherine for short. Okay. I got it.
So I'm a photographer, and I've got a website that I've had for a number of years through Squarespace.
Yep.
I was on another website, Marissa White's website, which is through you all, which I found out at the very end. And I really liked the website, and I especially liked the way you could buy something off of her website, and how easy that was, and how you can put it in different rooms, and on and on and on. That takes a lot of time and effort out of our day-to-day life, I'd say.
Yes.
I guess my main question is, as artists, how much time do you see us working on marketing versus working on our art?
The old crystal ball question, right? You know what the awesome answer to this question is. One, there's no magical number, right? That's not how it works. The most important thing is the consistency, and the number one thing that moves mountains, that cuts the holes through the glaciers, is that steady drip, 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 drip of water, right? So it's actually less about the number of hours that you give me and more about you giving them to me 52 weeks a year for years, right? That's what changes the game. And so what will end up happening is you'll decide what the right balance is for you. Let's just say it's 5 hours to keep the math simple. You'll be humming along at the 5 hours a week, and about 3 months in, you'll be like, I'm ready to quit. I haven't gotten the results that I need. This is terrible. And then right when you're at the lowest, because let me tell you, this is all one big roller coaster, this business. Right when you're at your lowest, you're going to end up getting a sale, and it's going to motivate you a little bit. And then the next thing you know, same thing's going to happen. You're going to get more motivated and more motivated. And then by the time you get like finally humming, probably 3/4 of the way through the year, these are generalizations, because your emotional gas tank is going to start getting filled up with the fact that people are sending you messages, and you're going to end up getting a commission, you got some extra gig, and you made some sales. Whatever you were giving me, you're going to end up doubling it just based on your own motivation. That's what I see happening time and time and time and time and time again. So you'll still have time to create, but you do need to transition to whatever you're going to do. You got to do it consistently, and you can't ever stop. Can't ever stop. Okay. Currency the win. Do you have a service-based portion of your business, or is it all fine art?
It's all fine art.
Got it.
I mean, I do lecture on art and iPhone photography.
Awesome.
But that's not even on my website. Got
it. Yeah, I mean, it's all part of it, but yeah, don't stress. Just get in your mind, okay, whatever I'm going to give it consistently, and then the score takes care of itself straight up. That's what you'll find.
So you can move the whole website over to your platform without any blip.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, so the way that it works is that you get like catherineclark.artstorefronts.com, right? And so that would give you just a site that's there that you'd build on, and then the minute that you're ready to put catherineclark.com, you point it from Squarespace to the Art Storefronts one, then boom, you don't miss a beat, right? Like at all. You will have to, we don't have the vacuum cleaner, sadly, that sucks everything off the Squarespace site and automatically puts it on ours. But our websites are really, really easy to build. There's not any custom design or nonsense that you're doing. I mean, you've seen it. It's all in the features, right? The whole thing looks minimalist by design, because that's what an art gallery looks like when you go in, right? There's not fancy design all over the walls in an art gallery. Why? Because the art needs to be front and center, right? So most people get their sites up in 14 days or less. Literally all you need is your images, your prices, your titles, your descriptions, And About Me, in your case, probably you want to get some information about the lectures on the About Me section too, so you got to do that. And then your logo, and then we're done. You're up, running, ready, time to start marketing.
And if you don't have a large customer base, what happens then?
Then you're not going to sell as much as if you did. We have to work on that part, right? That's what we're going to teach you how to grow, right?
Okay.
You're not the only one. That's how most people end up starting. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Catherine. Okay. What else, guys? Questions? Lori, you're the last one I picked on. Dwayne, not driving Dwayne. Yeah, I know. He's holding me the keys. I'm just picking on you for a question because your camera's on. You're brave, and instead of rewarding you for that, I'm ambushing you for that. But if either you two guys have a question, just let me know. Wave your hand, and I'll unmute you. Certainly can. So I'm going to email you while you guys are thinking about it. I'm going to email you after the fact. Video, links to anything that we discussed, any of the rest of the things. You guys will all get an email about the contest. I want all of you participating in the contest. The thing will absolutely change the game for you. Not kidding. It is just an absolute game changer. Oh, Maria, it looks like you were on the phone when I answered your question. Yes, you can start with one enough. You got to watch the replay because I answered it rather like in detail, actually. So you'll want to see that. What else? What am I forgetting? Yeah, I think other than that, I don't know. I think that's all I got for Wednesday. Good session today, though. I enjoyed it. Appreciate you guys all for coming on, playing along. Great questions. And definitely get a demo. We'll reach out to some of you proactively that asked for it. And other than that, understand the countdown. Like I said earlier when I started, not all you guys were in here. It starts with end of summer and Labor Day and back to school. And then before you know it, it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holiday buying season. There is time between now and then to get your stuff up on the website and spin up the marketing machine such that when you announce that Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, more art, by the way, is traditionally sold in the fourth quarter than the other three combined. So there's still time to get your whole machine spun up, getting ready to go, and start capitalizing on Q4. Again, I should say more art is sold traditionally in Q4 than the others in pre-COVID times. This last COVID, it was even, none of the stats even made sense because, 10 years of e-commerce growth happened essentially in 6 weeks. And that hasn't gone back either. So some crazy times that we're living in. But we can help you. Love to get you up operational. Take a look at a demo. We're doing a ton of live broadcasts. I'll pop around, and I want to see all of your live art shows. I'm going to harass you guys double. I'm going to send individual emails, okay? Follow-ups, check-ins, messenger messages. You guys can all run one. You're totally going to do one. I'm going to give you the guide. It's going to be awesome. Game on. So, yeah, that's what I'd say. But thanks, guys. Thanks for a great session today. Everybody have a great rest of your week.